The San Antonio Spurs number 4 overall draft pick not only has a chance to have the highest upside in the draft, not has the chances to be the best player in the draft, but has star-studded potential, and we're going to break it all down here on Spurs Digest with your host Keenan Warner. And road to 1K, we're getting so close to 1K for the subs. Make sure you take a spur of the moment, get every Spurs moment, hit that subscribe button, get us to 1K prior to the NBA season starting. But without further ado, we're going to break down this guy right here, number 4 overall draft pick. We know Stephon Castle. Perfect for the San Antonio Spurs. We knew that going in. Dan Hurley spoke on it a little bit. We're about to dive right into his word and Stephon Castle overall. So this was Stephon Castle his 1 year in college. Look at him, he's 6'6", 215. We know what he is as a prototype. We're going to break that down a little bit more moving forward. But 11 points, roughly 5 rebounds, roughly 3 assists, 47% shooting. He actually had upticks in everything across the board except for assist when it came to the tournament time, because big time, big money, Stephon Castle is going to show up. 12.5 points a game, nearing 6 rebounds, and then he had close to 3 assists. It was 2.7, shot 49% from the floor. So in the tournament, he was even showing to be a better prospect than he was during the regular season. The 4th overall pick selected, he stands to be a transformative player on the young Spurs roster. That could not be more than true. This guy right here. So the thing with Stephon Castle is, as we saw, 6'6", the offensive prowess isn't at the highest of statures right now, which is okay. You don't need to. Again, I'm going to bring up a name, shout out to one of my old videos, but I'm going to bring up a name. His name is Kawhi Leonard. We've seen the progression of a guy who wasn't really an offensive talent. He only averaged 8 points in his first season and became a Spurs superstar, a champion, a finals MVP with the Spurs. I say that with a little pause and backup because the hypothetical Kawhi trade to the Spurs was one of the videos that people did not want it. And you could really tell the pulse of a city when it comes to things like that. And the great place of San Antonio told me that even though the hypothetical was there, Kawhi Leonard, don't bring him. And I'm fine with that because I love to hear the pulse of the city. Anyways, back to Stephon Castle here. He could have the highest upside from the 2024 NBA draft. This is what Dan Hurley had to say about him post-draft. This guy, when you look at a fit right there, the Spurs value winning, they value workers, they value championships, and this is just the perfect player for them to draft for what they do in that organization. This guy is just scratching the surface. That is what Dan Hurley said about Stephon Castle. Moving forward, this is the SI article that we're about to get into. Castle's ability to drive and find open teammates will be on full display. He excels at gathering himself once he gets into the lane and using his impressive footwork to find paths to attack. And then defensively, Stephon Castle should be able to make an immediate impact. He's very active, using quick feet, constant movement, apply pressure to opponents, standing 6'6", impressive wingspan, jump passing lanes, disrupt ball handlers, guarding 1s through 4s in college, showcases versatility, speed, anticipation, physicality. The thing with Stephon Castle, I don't even need to keep reading here. It is right there. The defensive versatility, the potential for growth make him one of the most dangerous defenders in the rookie class. The thing with Stephon Castle is this. He is going to be box office in the sense of he is going to command respect on the floor. He's going to spin the turnstiles because you want to come in. If you want to see hard work, passion, energy, enthusiasm, work ethic, all the things that make someone a San Antonio Spur, this guy has everything you could want. The best part about Chris Paul, I've mentioned Chris Paul a bunch on this Spurs Digest show throughout the upcoming from the past videos, upcoming videos. Why? Because Chris Paul, this is going to be so important for this roster. They have so many guards. They have a young guard in Blake Wesley, of course. Tre Jones is going to be in a contract year. You've got Devin Vassell, who has been ascending. He is all-star potential this season. You've got Stephon Castle. And then you've got a guy like Chris Paul that you can learn from. Stephon Castle himself said that he wants to build himself as a lead guard. He wants to be able to be a point guard, a facilitator, and what better facilitator to learn from than the point guard himself in Chris Paul. Stephon Castle has the want, the work ethic, and everything to be a special talent in the NBA. And the first comparison that I did want to make to him and what we can see, Jrue Holiday. So obviously Jrue Holiday doesn't just flash off the page, but he's a two-time champion. We saw what he did with the Bucks run. He was the second best player on that Bucks team, the way he was leading games. He closing out games defensively, throwing lobs to Giannis, making big plays, making big shots. I understand that Stephon Castle doesn't shoot that way from three right now at 43%, which Jrue Holiday did last season. But the thing with Stephon Castle is he can develop, he can grow in that aspect. Again, we saw Kawhi Leonard go from not a great shooter to a consistent now 40% shooter beyond the arc. And that was a lot to do with the Spurs. The Spurs, when he left the Spurs, he was a finished product. It's just now he had to go prove what he could do elsewhere. But Jrue Holiday here, obviously, the Celtics stats are going to be a little bit down because you also had another Spur great, Derek White. You have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Peyton Pritchard. So those stats are going to be a little bit different. But 12, 5, and 5, that's something Stephon Castle can do easily. And this is him as a fourth or fifth option. The thing that I think Stephon Castle could definitely merge into is another guy that the Spurs know well, and that is DeJounte Murray. 6'5", athletic, can play defense, not afraid of the defensive end, but can go get his shots and go get his buckets. He had to develop parts of his game, and we saw the development while he was here. I think Stephon Castle has a lot of DeJounte Murray in himself. Again, the tenacity, the length, the quickness, the speed, the ability to weave in and out of the paint defenders. He's going to have to improve as a passer, Stephon Castle, especially if he is going to be the lead guard. But also on his team, he wasn't the lead guard. You had Newton there last year, who was the lead guard for UConn, so he didn't have to be the facilitator that he's going to have to be here in a couple years with this roster. DeJounte Murray is one of the more peak levels that Stephon Castle can get to. If not DeJounte Murray, there's been a couple comparisons to SGA. I get it, for an example. SGA has a scoring ability that is lethal of all lethals, but Stephon Castle has that kind of ability to weave in and out. So the thing with Stephon Castle that I love, and the thing that I think moving forward could be amazing for him and for the San Antonio Spurs, is that he cares, he wants it, and the pairing with him and Wemby is going to look great. You've got a great mentor to learn from, you've got a great coach to learn from, you've got a great player to play with, you've got a great system who is going to feel a lot like what you had at UConn, something that you're already used to. You go in there and you can make yourself a formidable player from day one. Let me know in the comments if you think Stephon Castle is going to pan out and maybe be an all-star in the NBA. Let me know what you guys think about the Rookie of the Year this year. I think it's a lock for that, but let me know if you think, how good do you think Stephon Castle is going to be? Apologies again for bringing up Kawhi Leonard. We know how that offends the San Antonio natives, but I just think that the development of Stephon Castle could mimic a little bit of what that Kawhi Leonard was offensively. Sorry to bring it up. But this has been Spurs Digest with Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you guys very soon.